And that's it now for us here at 5.
ABC 7 News at 6 starts right now.
Live from the ABC 7 Broadcast Center, this is ABC 7 News at 6 on your side.
First at 6, growing concern over the safety of our country's roads, bridges, trains, ports, and public transportation, which in some cases are crumbling. Funding to fix them is about to end.
Tonight, there is a renewed effort to deal with the nation's infrastructure. Senior political reporter Scott Thuman is live in Alexandria to explain why this is not an easy feat. Scott.
No, and you know, Gordon, Maureen, the Virginia Railway Express stop behind me here is a prime example of what we're talking about. The trains keep getting longer to accommodate all the people, but that means that the platforms actually are too short. Sometimes you have to go to the middle of the train just to get off it. And you need the Highway Trust Fund to help pay for projects like that. If it's not renewed by Congress, projects would stall. And coming by those billions of dollars is not easy, nor without controversy. A nation in need, crumbling bridges, aging roads, and overloaded buses and trains. Here in Northern Virginia, the constant construction is just to keep up with the growing crush of people who inundate the area for both home and work.
If you don't do it, eventually you pay the piper in terms of reduced service, a lack of reliability, degrade of the system in terms of safety.
The president today used the 60-year-old Tappan Zee Bridge in New York as a backdrop to plead for more funding from Congress.
At times you can see the river through the cracks in the pavement. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I figure that's not good.
Gas taxes have typically paid for this punch list, but if funding lapses this fall, the White House claims it'll endanger 112,000 ongoing projects affecting almost 700,000 jobs. In our area, that could mean 30 million lost for Tyson's Corner Road improvements or Phase 2 of the Metro Silver Line.
Infrastructure bites back if you don't fund it adequately. Sometimes it's a matter of a highway accident that didn't need to happen.
In addition to his $300 billion plan, the president's also vowing to fast-track multi-agency permitting and eliminate red tape. But that means $150 billion coming from closing corporate tax loopholes and other reforms. No easy task when it comes to Capitol Hill. Now, back out here live, David Snyder says if there's not reliable funding, it's almost impossible to plan. For example, the Metro rail cars behind me. WMATA gets on a list to order new cars. If they don't have reliable funding, they can't cut a check. That means they get put on the bottom of the list. That means a big delay, sometimes even years. Live in Alexandria tonight, Scott Thuman, ABC 7 News.
Scott, thanks. Here's more on the country's infrastructure concerns. According to the White House, 65% of Americans' major roads are rated in less than good condition. The White House says the United States has dropped to 19th place in the world on the quality of its infrastructure. Another reason it wants to streamline the permitting process. Republicans say, well, the Democrats are hypocrites about this because the Obama administration has delayed approval of the proposed Keystone oil pipeline from Canada to Texas.
We have breaking news now from Southern California. Dry conditions are helping to fuel a pair of wildfires near San Diego. Within the past hour, state fire officials confirm 30 homes have been destroyed. One of the fires forced the evacuation of an elementary school and nearby residents on Camp Pendleton. The new evacuation comes as more than 20,000 people were allowed to return to their homes.
And we are on Storm Watch tonight. We are expecting some rain today, but a threat of severe weather later this week. ABC 7 meteorologist Steve Rudin joins us with a first look at what we can expect. Steve.
Artie, Gordon, big changes are on the way, but for tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. In the meantime, as we take a look at temperatures outside the Belfour Furniture Weather Center, hardly moved at all today. Middle 60s, but the further south and west you go, a lot warmer. That's because a stationary front now hardly moving at all, but a cold front just off to the west of us. That's what will become our bigger weather maker for the day tomorrow. Stronger thunderstorms across the mid part of the country, now quickly moving off toward the north and east. For us, though, looking at just a few stray showers across western Maryland should not amount to a whole lot as we move through the evening hours. Temperatures will range from around 64 to 70 degrees. Winds will be light. We will see patchy fog come early tomorrow morning and then heavy rain late tomorrow night. Talk about how much rain to expect and when it will finally be out of here coming up in just a few minutes. Maureen?
Thanks so much, Steve. New at 6, D.C. police released surveillance video of a burglary at a charter school. The incident happened on April 22nd at the Community Academy Public Charter School, Amos 3 campus. That's on 1st Street in Northwest. Surveillance video shows 2 persons of interest walking into the school. Police say the 2 took laptops, then left moments later.
Some key changes to a plan to add bike lanes in a busy Alexandria road have nearby homeowners upset and dissatisfied. The plan would add the bike lanes on a residential portion of King Street between Janney's Lane and Russell Road. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Jeff Goldberg is live in Alexandria with more on the plan and the changes. Jeff.
Well, Gordon, the painting of the bike lanes began this week. You can see the outlines here on this side of the street and on that side of the street. They'll be green when they're done. It's currently rush hour right now on King Street, a very busy road. That could create complications when the bike lanes open up soon. And as you take a look up this hill, this is the area where city officials are most focused on safety, where speeds get higher, visibility gets lower. But when it comes to moving forward, the width of this street, some people living in the area say it's just not wide enough for what's going on. More than a few people in Alexandria view the new green bike lanes as a sign of progress.
I think it's good to have bike lanes.
Francis Buckley is not one of them.
It would take an idiot to plan a bike lane here.
Buckley sees the lane in front of his home, the one coming soon on the other side of the street, and a very tight and busy space in between.
We'll have buses that have to swerve to avoid each other. They'll cut into the bike lane, and heaven knows what'll happen then.
After a contentious neighborhood debate, the city of Alexandria is now laying down bike lanes on both sides of a 2/3 of a mile stretch of King Street between Russell Road and Janney's Lane. But about halfway in between, at the top of the hill on the north side, the bike lane is interrupted to make room for parking spaces in front of 10 homes that don't have off-street parking.
Our preference would have been for pedestrian safety, for cyclist safety, to have the bike lane the entirety of the way. It certainly represents a compromise position, but a position that meets or exceeds all design standards.
As a resident who kept my parking, that's great personally, but in terms of the scheme of how it's going to work, I think we're all really concerned about the safety issues.
In the mornings, it can be a little hairy.
Monique Miles thinks her 2-wheel commute on King Street will be easier once it's greener.
The drivers will at least have to acknowledge that the cyclists have a right to be on the road too.
It's going to be the case here coming up soon. Obviously a busy time of day when the bikes come through. It's going to be busy come rush hour when the bike lanes open up. One idea the city council is going to be considering next month is banning big trucks on this section of King Street. Could have a big impact on the bike lane. City officials are strongly urging both drivers and cyclists that when driving on this part of the road, be smart, be safe, and courteous. Live on King Street in Alexandria, Jeff Goldberg, ABC 7 News.
Thank you, Jeff. Heartbreaking scenes tonight after hundreds of people are killed in a mine explosion.
Still to come at 6, the call for action by loved ones. We'll talk about who's calling the country's prime minister a murderer.
And the suspect in the attack that terrorized a television station, what we're learning about him tonight.
It may be commencement season, but for the vast majority of graduating seniors, there's very little to celebrate when it comes to new jobs. I'm Candace Gibson in Northwest. I'll tell you why next.
Hundreds of people protesting in western Turkey following one of the world's deadliest mining accidents in decades. Nearly 250 coal miners were killed in the town of Soma in an explosion and fire. Several women are seen weeping uncontrollably. Riot officers called in as some protesters call the country's prime minister a murderer and demand his resignation. Nearly 800 miners inside at the time of the explosion.
A Baltimore man is behind bars tonight, a day after police say he rammed a truck into a television station and then barricaded himself for hours. Police say 28-year-old Vladimir Baptiste faces attempted murder, assault, and several other charges related to the incident. Armed security remains outside WMAR TV at this hour. Neighbors and family describe Baptiste as a talented painter, a friendly person, and say they didn't see this coming.
That's just insane. I mean, it's complete insanity what was his motive? Why ABC2? What was the purpose?
Baltimore County's chief of police said Baptiste was suffering from emotional or mental health issues when he was taken into custody yesterday. He's being held on $750,000 bail.
And some sobering news for thousands of college students about to join the workforce.
Still to come, one graduate story and why it could be retold by many families in our region.
Also had a lot of rain, potential flooding in the next 24 hours. Steve's back to show us the timeline of what we can expect.
The Nationals are on the field right now trying to win the series from the Diamondbacks before they head home. And the Indiana Pacers hit the wall because of the way John ran the ball club last night. Can the Wizards do it again in Game 6? I'll break it down for you as ABC 7 News at 6 continues.
Washington controls it.
New at 6, this is a nerve-wracking time if you are a college graduate about to get your diploma.
Yeah, there are 1.6 million graduates in the class of 2014. A new report reveals that a large majority of college graduates will face unemployment after graduation. Several commencement ceremonies taking place this weekend. Candace Gibson spoke to a local college graduate who's trying to find a job.
The bell tolling at the Georgetown University clock tower, a not so subtle reminder to graduates, time is running out to get a job. It's why finance and marketing major Sami Abdisaban suited up today for yet another job interview.
So it seemed like there was some kind of thought that I would probably get it, but I don't want to be too certain, of course.
With commencement ceremonies Friday, many Georgetown students are shocked they're about to walk across that stage without employment waiting for them on the other side. Is it harder than you thought it would be?
Getting a job?
Yeah.
Of course.
According to a survey, so far only 17% of would-be grads have jobs lined up. In 2013, 20% of grads had jobs already. Numbers reflected in this impromptu and unscientific poll of these George Washington University seniors. Do you have a job?
No, I'm going to law school.
Okay, you?
I do have a job.
You?
No.
Going to law school.
No.
And as for the students going to law school?
I'm doing law school because I want to wait out the economy.
Of course, there are many graduates who have reasons to celebrate.
She interviewed me and she liked me, so she gave me the job.
But economic analysts say the stark numbers are a clear indication there's still a lack of growth and confidence in this economy. Even after this year's seniors cross that difficult hurdle and do find a job, they're just a few months shy from their next challenge, paying off their share of the more than $1 trillion in student loan debt. In Northwest, Candace Gibson, ABC 7 News.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Candace.
looks pretty good there where he is.
Yeah.
It does. At least it's dry out there right now, and big changes on the way for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. You'll need your umbrella. I
Rain on the
guarantee it,
way.
100%. Outside we go this hour. A little soupy out there, and our clouds kept us cool today. It's only 66 degrees at Reagan National Airport this hour. Looking at the Ford board, our high today was only 66 degrees. We were about 25 degrees warmer yesterday. Our average for this time of year, 75. Weatherbug Network 64 in Silver Spring. No rain yet. Rain will hold off until tomorrow. 64 at Children's Hospital in the district, and our final stop takes us to Ashburn. Now it's 64 degrees, a morning low of 58. So temperatures had a hard time gaining traction today. A little bit warmer just to the south and west of us. Now looking at 64 in Winchester. Frederick at 66 degrees. Annapolis also at 66. Widen the view out just a little bit. Don't have to go very far to find temperatures well into the 80s. Mid-80s in Charleston, but we do have a cold front just off to the west of us. This cooler, drier air slowly moves our way over the next 48 hours, and it will bring heavier rains to our area. Compared to yesterday at this exact time, we are now 21 degrees colder here in Washington. Satellite and radar shows a few showers bubbling up across western Maryland. Didn't amount to a whole lot, but the stronger storms across Ohio into Kentucky, that's where we have severe thunderstorm watches and tornado watches at this time. Nothing like that for us right now, mainly dry around the Capitol Beltway. We may see a few pop-up showers over the next few hours and a little bit of patchy fog come early tomorrow morning. Already, National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for the D.C. metro the entire area actually shaded in green. This is tomorrow night until Friday afternoon, as we could be looking at as much as 2 to 4 inches of rain here in the metro area. Once this cold front moves on out of here, we are going to look for our skies to clear, but between now and then, the heaviest of the rain comes early Friday morning, and then look what happens as we move into Friday afternoon and Saturday. Brighter skies on the way. 60 to 65 for an overnight low. Look for areas of fog, winds just around 3 to 8 miles per hour. Then for the day tomorrow, calling for temperatures around 77 to 82 degrees. Can't rule out a chance for a thunderstorm as we see heavier rain develop late in the day. An extended outlook shows dry Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the lower 70s, nighttime lows in the 50s.
And now the Toyota Sports Desk, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
This Wizards team makes you work for it, doesn't it?
They do, but aren't they fun to watch?
Oh, yeah.
The good, the bad, the excitement. Hey, the Wizards overcame a huge statistical hurdle last night because if you go by the numbers, about 60% of the NBA teams that are behind 3-1 in a playoff series lose in Game 5. But the Wizards not only won, they embarrassed the #1 seed at the Fieldhouse in a closeout game. Now, they're not out of the woods yet. 20% of the teams lose Game 6. Only 5% win the series. But the Wizards are still alive, and John Wall seemed to get a little bit of his mojo back. He ran the club with confidence, dictated the tempo, looked for his shot, scored 27 points, and dropped 5 dimes. Listen to me now. When John Wall plays fast, the Wizards play fast. When they play defense, it sets up their offense. Wall did have 5 turnovers, but along with Gortat, Wall was the difference maker in that game.
I told him I wanted him to come out tonight and just play like a wild man. I want you, though, energizing our guys, racing the ball up and down the floor.
To hear that from your coach, somebody that's been here for 4 seasons and riding with me through the thick and thin of things, and me having his back was pretty exciting. And he texted me today and said, just believe in yourself, John Wall, and I did.
Just believe. Tomorrow night, Game 6. The Oklahoma Thunder made a miraculous comeback last night, overcame a 7-point deficit in the last 50 seconds to beat the Clippers 105-104. But it wasn't without controversy. Chris Paul turns the ball over here. This sets up a drive the other way. There is no foul call on this play. The ball went out of bounds off Oklahoma City's Reggie Jackson. But the officials gave the ball to the Thunder anyway. So listen to Clippers coach Doc Rivers.
In my opinion, let's take away replay. Let's take away the replay system because that's our ball. We win the game, and we got robbed because of that call. We got 2 more games to play, but that could be a series-defining call, and that's not right.
I love Doc Rivers. All right, let's go to baseball. The Nationals have won only 4 of 11 games this month, and when you're 4-7, that's not good. The Nats and Diamondbacks are playing a matinee. It just ended. Nats trailed 1-0 until the 7th. Jason Worth, powerful swing, good balance, and deep left center field gone, tie game. Top of the 9th, bases loaded for Ian Desmond. He gets a pitch he likes, and boom, singles to left. That scores Denard Span. Anthony Rendon, he'll chug around. He comes home. Nats jump on top 3-1. They add a few more, and they win it 5-1, and now come home to play the Mets. Let me take you to Baltimore. Orioles playing host to the Tigers this afternoon. Down 6-2 in the 5th. Nelson Cruz, left field. See you later. 3-run tater. The O's down by only 1 now. But in the top of the 6th, this is Raja Davis. He takes Miguel Gonzalez to the souvenir stand. Get a new baseball. The Tigers win 7-5. They sweep the Birds 3 straight. And Boise State has been granted permission by the NCAA to give assistance to one of its football recruits who is homeless. Defensive end Anton Turner has been living on a park bench. He now will be allowed to move onto campus, live in a dorm, and he will be fed. He lost his mom to cancer. He lost his uncle in Hurricane Katrina, and now he has a home at Boise State University.
Oh, my goodness.
Great story.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Steve has a final look at the forecast when we come back.
Coming up tonight, the danger below your feet. This evening, we hear from some local residents who say that they were injured by simply walking down the sidewalk. Why you should be on alert and watch where you step tonight at 11.
Thanks, Leon. And what about the rest of the evening and tomorrow?
All right, dry for right now, but tomorrow you'll grab your umbrella. A little peek of sunshine come early tomorrow morning. Then by mid-afternoon, from west to east, the heavy rain will move overhead. We could see upwards of 2 to 4 inches by the time the system moves on out of here. At least it'll be drier and cool and brighter come Saturday and Sunday.
We're looking forward to that. ABC World News coming up next.
Join us at 11 o'clock. Have a good night.